Hey dolls, welcome back to episode 5 of Freaky Fridays. I really hope you are enjoying this series. I'm having so much fun creating it and just reading your stories. If you really are enjoying it, please give this video a thumbs up, share with your friends, let them know what we do on Fridays. You make sure to have your snacks ready. I have my sabraditos and my Smirnoff sparkling seltzer. So chill, relax. This is our Friday. And get ready to be spooked. But before I keep blabbing, if you are not subscribed, please be sure to hit that subscribe button and that bell notification to be notified when I upload videos. Also, if you want to submit your spooky, paranormal, or ET stories, submit them to freakyfridays2019@gmail.com. Alright dolls, let's get into this video. So the first story is from Black Luna and she has audio. Yay, I love audio. So we're going to listen to her story. I'm going to be munching and drinking.
Hey doll, so I have a paranormal story to tell. So I should start off by saying that I am 16 and live with my parents and one brother in a 4-bedroom apartment.
I love her accent.
With one of the rooms being a spare room for the guests. I've had many paranormal activities happen to me before, so I'm generally not afraid, as none of them ever felt threatening. So it's just like, I see you, you see me, we don't bother each other.
Do your own thing.
We're good. But this one experience scared me almost to death. This actually happened last week. I woke up at about 5 a.m. sweating, as my room can get very hot sometimes. So I went to the other spare room because it's cooler and managed to sleep for almost 10 minutes before I felt a presence in the room. Sorry about that. I knew that my parents were traveling for the weekend and my brother was asleep, and he is a heavy sleeper who wakes up at noon. So I was freaked out, and suddenly the temperature dropped immensely and I heard someone whisper my name. I thought I was hallucinating or something before I felt a cold, bony hand on my shoulder. I screamed bloody murder and turned around quickly to catch a glimpse of slender black fingers with sharp nails before it disappeared. This scared the living daylights out of me and sent me running to the kitchen to get a knife or some sort of weapon. Like, isn't this shit supposed to happen at night?
Hell no!
Anyways, I still feel eyes on me every now and then since that happened, and I'm too terrified to sleep anywhere but on the couch in the living room.
I don't blame you.
Oh god, this is freaking me out. So, I hope you enjoyed this.
Oh my gosh! Just the way she was reading it, and even the background noise, that truck or motorcycle, whatever it was, that freaked me out. It kind of added to the vibe. Did you tell your parents what happened? I want to know what they said, and have they experienced anything? Because if I saw long black fingers with claws, I would have died. I would have passed out. Thank you so much, Black Luna, for sharing your story. This next one is from CourtneyS and is also an audio.
Hey, so my name's Courtney, and when I was little, I used to see ghosts or hear them talk sometimes, except, you know, I guess I didn't really know that that's what was happening. I'm 31 now, so usually things don't happen to me anymore, but occasionally something will happen, and I just find that if you ignore it, usually it'll go away. But anyway, I have a lot of stories, but I'll just choose a few short ones, and I'll save the worst one for last. I still to this day don't like talking about it because I'm afraid if I do, it'll come back. The first one I actually remember happening. My grandpa died from lung cancer when I was in kindergarten, and I guess it was probably 2 or 3 years after that. My sister and I, she's about 3 years younger than me, we had bunk beds, and I slept on the top bunk bed. And in the middle of the night, I woke up to the jewelry box playing, and it was one of those jewelry boxes that had the ballerina in it, to where you like had to open it for it to play.
It's always those.
And for some reason, it just started playing by itself, and I didn't think anything of it at the time, but I like kind of sat up and looked, and I saw a man with brown hair and eyeglasses walk past bed. And I remember I just screamed for my mom because it scared me so bad. I was thinking there's some strange man in the house. And when she came in there, she asked what he looked like, and I told her, and she said it was probably my grandpa.
No.
And then the last one that happened to me is the bad one, and it still freaks me out to this day. I was in my 20s at that point, and I was living with my husband. At the time we lived in a small mill house. It was like a 2-bedroom house. Another old house yet again. And sometimes on the side, like on the weekends, he would go, other than his regular job, he would go work on computers for people. And he was working on computers for, like the fire department, I think it was. And so he was out late that night because it's just easier for like business and stuff for him to do it at night when, you know, things aren't going on. Anyway, so I think it was about 3 o'clock in the morning. Go figure. That's supposed to be like the witching hour, I think. I wake up for whatever reason, because I guess I felt like somebody was standing there, and like I looked to my right, and the window was behind me, and the moonlight was shining in through the window. It was like a full moon, and it was shining through the window in front of the closet door that was there to my right. And there was a black outline of a person standing there. And at first, I didn't think anything of it. And I said, babe. And he didn't say anything. And I was like, babe, when did you get home? And then the shadow leaned in. Its, I guess, face, you could say, even though it didn't have a face. And it leaned in to where it was probably like a few inches away from me, and I had like started to lean up for a kiss because I thought he was giving me a kiss and say something. And right when it got up to my face, I realized, oh my God, like it had no face, like the light wasn't shining through it, it was just dark. And it leaned in and screamed at me at the top of its lungs, and it was like this screeching, squealing, like I'm getting goosebumps right now.
So am I.
And it was that instantaneous moment where I realized, like, oh my God, like it was just something bad. And I remember for some reason I thought, turn the light on, like I thought if I turned the light on I would be okay. I reached over to the bedside and started clicking the lamp, and it was clicking, and it wasn't turning on. And I remember I just jumped out of bed, ran down the hallway, ran into the bathroom, and slammed and locked the door and turned the light on in there. And one of the cats had followed me. At that time we had 2 cats. I'm there huddled in the bathroom, and my cat has its hackles raised, and it's just hissing at the bathroom door like it knows something's there. And I could feel that something was on the other side of the door, and I could see like a shadow of like a person like underneath the bottom crack of the door. And I didn't know what to do, and I just was like praying. That's the only thing I could think of to do. And I don't know why, and I don't know what was running through my head, or if it had done something to me, whatever it was. But like I remember like reaching my hand to open the bathroom door, and I just remember my hand was shaking, and I turned the doorknob and opened the door. And then the next thing I remember is my husband coming home to me in the corner of the living room, hunched over on the floor, holding a knife when he walked through the door. Like, I think it was probably about 2 hours later. I don't know how the fuck that happened. Like, I don't remember anything between opening the bathroom door and him coming home to me in the living room. And he said when he came home, like, all the lights were on, the TV was on like the static station or whatever, and was like blaring at the top of the volume. And, you know, I told him what happened. You know, I was crying, I was shaking. For like a week, I felt so unsettled, and I was like a nervous wreck. Like, I felt something was like just leering over my shoulder all the time. But like, I remember I told it to go away, and just somehow it didn't come back again. And I don't know. That's the weirdest thing that's ever happened to me. So, yeah, that's my story. I have some other ones if any of y'all want to hear any more, just let me know.
So cute. Any of y'all? Yes, we definitely want to hear more stories. I'm sure all of my viewers, subscribers want to listen to it. What the hell? That is so... The fact that... I know I always say so creepy. That's like my line. So creepy. That's crazy. And the fact that you lost time, like you don't remember what happened in between you opening the door and then your husband coming home, and you even had a knife in your hand. That is creepy. I don't know what is going on there. Thank you so much, Courtney, for sharing your story. And Courtney does have a YouTube channel, Courtney B, so be sure to check out her YouTube channel. Okay, the next story is from Sarah S. And she says, my name is Sarah, and these are some of my stories that I have. I hope you enjoy them. She also sent a recording, so we are going to listen to that recording.
Hey girl, hey. I wanted to start by saying that you genuinely are a stunning human being inside and out, and I genuinely love your authenticity and your videos, and I'm super stoked for this Freaky Friday event you have going.
Oh, thank you, my love. I love you so much.
I actually typed down what I wanted to say because there's just so many things in my life that have happened, and I figured the best way to do it would be to write it down to kind of give me points to reference back to. But I'll start with... My family and I are very sensitive to the other side, and we always have been since I think I was about 8 or 9 years old when it first started. My mom has always been, and it wasn't until I got a little bit older that I really started to experience things for myself and to truly grasp the other side and what it all meant in the grand scheme of things. The first thing that ever happened to me was when I was about 9 years old, and we were living in Florida, Orlando, and I was sleeping in my room, and I always slept with my head at the foot of the bed because I'm terrified of the dark. I'm 33 and I'm still scared of the dark, I'm not gonna lie. But I always slept with my head at the foot of the bed because we always kept the hall light on for us, and we had a bathroom for my brother and I. We always had a bathroom by our bedroom. And one night when I was laying there, I woke up because it sounded like somebody was walking past my door. And I looked and I could see the outline of a woman, and I'm like, okay, it's my mom. She's gonna go to the bathroom. No big deal. Is what it is. Close my eyes, and then a few seconds goes by, and I feel somebody sit on the edge of my bed.
No.
And I kind of had that thought of, it's my mom, alright? Like, what's going on? And I open my eyes, and I see the shape of a woman sitting on the edge of my bed. Now, I could see her clearly. She had brown, short, curly hair. She had on blue pants, a purple shirt, and these earrings that sparkled. I could see that they could sparkle, and I don't know how. And I kind of just stared at her for a second, trying to understand, what am I looking at? What am I seeing? And she turned to look at me, because she was facing the wall. She turned and looked at me, smiled, turned her head back, facing the wall again, and at this point, mind you, I'm 9 years old, I flung the covers over my head, kept them up there for a few seconds, and I was like, okay, maybe you're hallucinating. Peeked back out. Peeked back, she was gone. Booked it into my mom and dad's room. I was like, I'm sleeping in here, don't care. So, didn't really say anything much, and then a few days later, I finally asked my mom, I said, Mom, do you believe in ghosts? And she kind of got a little pale and like this look on her face of like, why are you asking that? And I told her what had happened. And before I even told her that, she'd whispered something to my dad. And I told her what had happened, and she kind of just went, okay, all right. And she smiled.
Oh,
she went into her room, and she goes, okay, I don't want you to be freaked out, but it's nothing bad. The woman you saw is actually your great-grandmother. And she opened her hand, and she had the earrings in her hand, and I just kind of sat there frozen, because at first I thought maybe she's playing a prank with me, but the problem is my mother is blonde and straight hair. This woman had, like I said, dark brown, short, curly hair. And she, said again, it's your great-grandmother. She's just visiting to say hello, just to check on us. She visits me often, nothing to be afraid of. And it kind of gave me a sense of okayness, where I was like, okay, if my mom is telling me it's okay, it's gotta be okay, because why would my mom lie to me? And so I just kind of went like that for my life, where I was just like, it just is what it is. After that, when I was 13 years old, we had actually moved up to New Jersey to be closer to my mom's family, and we moved into this farmhouse. And this farmhouse was on about 100 plus acres, and it was an old home. I think it was built in like 1901. So there's the stage setting for you. Old farmhouse, tons of acreage.
Perfect horror movie.
Just asking for some stuff to happen. And stuff happened. It happened. You know, I was in high school, and one day I was sick. I didn't want to go to school. I got a test or something that day, and I was like, I'm not feeling well, so I wanted to stay home. So I stayed home.
That's what you get.
I was in the living room, laying down on the couch watching TV, and my mom had left. She had gone to my grandmother's actually that day. And I'm laying there and watching TV, and I hear the door open, and I'm like, Mom? I don't hear anything. So I get up, and I walk to the front door, and there's this man standing there. He's older, maybe in his 50s or 60s, long gray beard, wearing a plaid shirt with overalls on. Saw him, I had the house phone in my hand, booked it out the back door, called my mom, I was like, Mom, we need to call the cops, there's somebody in the house. And she goes, what do you mean? And I told her about it, and she goes, no, don't call the cops. I'll be on my way home right now.
Oh, sure.
Don't worry about it. You can stay outside if you want, but it's not what you think. And she got home and she told me, she goes, it's the man who used to work on the house. She goes, I've seen him before. And he's okay. He's just part of the house. It almost felt like I was getting in trouble by this man for being like, I know you're lying. I know you stayed home from school for no reason.
Exactly, that's what I said. That's what you get.
So, needless to say, I saw the man and, just was what it was. The last story I'll tell you is, it's one that took me a very long time to understand. I was very, very sick one day, and it was to the point I had a super high fever, so high that I was actually hallucinating, and this painting that I had in my room, I was talking to it. And my dad's like, who are you talking to? And I'm like, oh, them. Like, I was out of my mind with fever. And my parents had basically said, like, look, if the fever doesn't break by morning, we're going to take you to the hospital. They were giving me, over-the-counter medicine. Let's just see if this helps. So the next morning I woke up and my fever had broken. I felt groggy, but I felt better, a lot better. And then it took a few years, and I think my brother one day just said to me, he goes, look, I gotta tell you something. Because do you remember that time when you were really, really sick with a fever and you were like hallucinating? And I'm like, yeah, I remember that. And he goes, well, something really weird happened. And he said that night he woke up because he smelled smoke. And when he opened his eyes and he looked out the doorway, he saw at my doorway a nun standing there.
Oh, hell no, the nun.
And he said the nun had this ball and chain in her hand with smoke coming out of the ball. Now, my mother is Catholic, my father was Protestant. We were not raised religious because our parents kind of wanted us to have our own perception of what we wanted to believe in. We grew up with the belief of God and heaven and hell and Jesus and things like that, but it was more so choose how you want to take that and believe in it. And he said this woman stood in front of my doorway with the chain with the ball, which I've later found out that process is called liturgical sensing. Incense are the prayers of the church, and the smoke is the prayers rising to heaven. And he said that he saw her do this, and she was making the sign of the cross in my doorway. And that he, kind of similar to me, freaked out, threw the blanket over his head, and was just like, what the hell did I just see? And he said that when he pulled the blankets down, she was gone, but he could still smell it. And I think the reason that he brought this up to me was because when I was baptized, he had actually smelled it and went, and I guess it triggered his memory, and he's like, I know that smell, I've smelled it before. Which strange is typically nuns don't do that, it's usually a priest, a father, things like that, but he swears that he saw this nun standing in my doorway, and the next day my fever broke and I felt better. So I'm grateful to her, to whomever she was, for praying for me and for me getting better. I hope you enjoyed this. I know it's long, and like I said, I could continue going, but I love you so much. Thank you so much, and I hope you have a great day. Bye.
Bye! Oh my gosh, that was so incredible. I knew it as soon as you said the day you had skipped school that the ghost was showing up, because I bet he feels like he's part of the family. I'm assuming you guys have lived there for a while now, but he probably felt like, I'm a part of this family and your ass isn't going to school, so I'm going to scare you right now, which is exactly what he did. Send some more stories. I love them and I love you. Thank you so much. So this next one has a video attached to it, and this one is from Kirsten S. And it starts off, Hey hotness, hi my love. First off, love you. I love you more. I think you're incredible. Second of all, I apologize if this is all over the place. LOL. Oh, thank you, my love. Oh, you guys are always so sweet. I can't help it. Disclosure: my father-in-law was under in-home hospice care. That was my grandpa. So my father-in-law lost his battle with cancer September 1st of last year, 2018. So not quite a year ago. It was a matter of a month after being diagnosed that we lost him. He expectedly passed away peacefully in our home, and I had the unfortune of being the one who found him. Oh, I'm so sorry. He was death rattle breathing. Sorry, this one's like hitting me because my grandfather, it was in home hospice, and he was doing that breathing right before he passed. This is just, everything's just bringing back those memories. And when I walked by his bedroom, his breathing suddenly stopped. So I went in and put my hand on his chest, and he took one last breath, and then he was gone. I then had to deliver this devastating news to my husband and sleeping mother-in-law. My husband and I have lived with my in-laws for years, and we had moved into the house we are in now in May of last year. The house is on the corner of the street, so my husband thought it would be a good idea to set up security cameras around the outside, and ended up installing one under our kitchen counter, which shows a crossway for all three entrances into our home. My husband spends a lot of time down in the basement where his man cave is, and would always tell me he'd hear voices late at night while hanging out watching TV, footsteps, little bangs here and there, and it got to the point where particular noises would make him review our security camera. I have attached the only video that I happen to have on my phone, although there are several other clips my husband has saved. It always appears as an orb, always late at night. The timestamp for the video I provided says 11:15 p.m. And my husband always hears a noise or someone has left the room when the orb appears. Sometimes it would just dance in and out of the shot, or like in this video, it would dart from one room to the next. On this particular night, my son happened to be sleeping on the couch down in that family room that the orb goes in, and him and his papa were like best buddies. One night around 7:30, my mother-in-law was in the bathroom of her bedroom, and she was getting sick, and the next morning she tells me that she had a missed call from my father-in-law's phone at 7:22 the night before. Exactly the time she would have been in the bathroom getting sick, while her phone was sitting in her bedroom. My husband didn't believe her, saying she must have accidentally dialed his phone or something, but when we checked, it was under the missed call log, and his phone has been disconnected through T-Mobile. Turned off and put away in a dresser drawer. My husband did as much research as he could, and as far as he could find, his dad's phone number has not been redistributed, and even if it had, what are the odds that the person would wrong dial my mother-in-law? So weird. I do know that when he passed away, some things came to light that gave my mother-in-law some resentment, and she had verbalized how angry she was with him, and I really do believe it gave him some unfinished business. In December, I made the life-changing decision to become sober, but shortly before, everyone in my house seemed to be going through their own thing. My mother-in-law grieving, my husband handling things in his own way, my drinking, and I had a very vivid dream one night, which is not easy for an alcoholic to have, of my father-in-law, but he looked like he did when I met him 10 years ago. He looked healthy and happy, and he was smiling at me. All he said to me was everything's going to be okay. I didn't want to tell my mother-in-law the next day, for fear of upsetting her, but she was having a particularly rough day with thinking about him, and thought maybe telling her would actually help. And it did. She says she feels since I was the one who was with him when he passed, he has this connection with me. No one else had experienced anything like that. Anyway, some time has passed and things have been quiet, and we haven't captured anything else. So maybe my mother-in-law has made her peace, and he's been able to let go and move on to where he needs to be. Thank you for letting me share my story. Keep inspiring. And here is the video. They do say when people pass, they get to choose how they want to appear. They usually go back to the happiest time in their life, or when they felt happiest. And then also, when they come into dreams, they present themselves the way that you would most remember them, or when you felt the happiest or had the most positive memories with them. So I love hearing stories because it's always, oh, they're younger, or, you know, they're not sick, they're happy, and it makes my heart melt. And just reading this story completely reminded me of my grandfather. So thank you so much, Kirsten. And that was definitely an orb, and I'm so happy that he's there visiting you guys. And our last Freaky Friday story. This one is from Berlin K, and it is Freaky Friday story about Ouija board haunting. Hi there, this story is long, but I will try to summarize it very quickly. At my previous home before my current home, my husband and I decided to purchase a Ouija board to see if it was real. Oh my gosh, why do you guys do that? It's real! It started as kind of a joke. The first few times we played, the planchette was moving, but I seriously thought my husband was moving it to scare me. Things started to get really weird after the third time we played. I stopped mid-game and got really angry at him because I swore it was him moving it. Funny thing is, he thought I was moving it. I swear neither of us were. The board was telling us innocent things at first, like that we were communicating with the child and other innocent things. It got dark when the board said it watches us and wants me. Ooh. It told us it was lying and that it was older than time itself. The very night, dishes were thrown out of the cabinets and shattered everywhere. I couldn't believe it. The activity increased, the slamming doors, lights going out, knocking, pounding, and running footsteps. I was really afraid. We decided to play again. Seriously? What? I know, dumbass idea. Yes! I don't remember much about during that last session, but I got a huge rage. My husband said my eyes changed. I was me, but not me. I was saying awful things like hail the dark one and how I'm gonna kill him. I feel awful, but I swear on my children it wasn't me. I also developed a rash all over my body. We ended up moving because of the activity. During the move, the board somehow came with us. That's what they always say, that you can never get rid of it. On the back, burned into the wood over and over, was XOXO. The activity followed me. Sinks turned on by themselves, lights went on and off. Footsteps knocking and banging happening daily. I even seen black masses from the corner of my eye. We've tried praying, smudging, etc., but it just makes it worse. Someone told me that whatever came through probably attached to me, hence the last session. I wish this was a lie and made up, but it's not. This is seriously my life now. Don't ever touch a Ouija board, please. It's affecting our whole family. Okay. I know that, but you guys watching, don't ever play with a Ouija board. And I always tell people that. They always say that once you play with it, something can connect with you, which is exactly what I'm thinking has happened. But I'm so sorry to hear about that. Thank you for sharing your story. You guys, if any of you have suggestions as to what she can do to help detach that evil entity from her, please comment down below. We need to help one of our own, because that is very scary. But thank you so much, Berlin, for sharing that story. And now, so you guys can get a little bit less spooked, we are going to move on to the outfit. Alright dolls, so for the outfit, this is the Adams Girl baby doll dress, which I have paired with the Punk Encounters spike belt. And then for heels, I am wearing the Feline Good platform heels. I love the belt, it just kind of adds an edgy look. And this is all from Dolls Kill. They sent me a huge packet, which I'll be doing a haul on. But I loved the spike belt. I think it added sort of that punk edgy look to it. But if you want the belt off, this is how the dress looks without it. It does have some lace on the arms and some buttons going all the way down, so it's really cute. And these are the heels. Look how adorable these platform Mary Janes are. It has a little heart in the front that does say Sugar Thrills. So that is it for today's Freaky Friday, and as always, I'm very sad that it's coming to an end, but thank you guys so much for sharing your stories. Once again, if you have suggestions for any of these people who are being haunted, please comment down below. I love you dolls. Have a Freaky Friday. Don't get too spooked, and I will see you soon. Bye, loves.